I mentioned scapegoat patterns. Yep. If we're used to being the scapegoat and we're with someone who's being abusive, that fits our family dynamic. So then we're scapegoated because that abusive person blames us, doesn't take responsibility. If you would just, then I wouldn't, becomes the script in a dysfunctional relationship. We've all seen it in bad movies if we haven't experienced it ourselves. The abuser hits someone and then says, "Why did you make me do that?" I can be a little mouthier in here than on the public show, but that's a massive mind fuck. Okay. There's also cycles of abuse. Okay. It's a bit like a bell curve, I guess. It's like, okay, as it's going up, it's like, all right, tension is building. So we're calm. Things are kind of pretty not hellish, kind of decent in the relationship. And then tension starts to build, and it builds because emotional regulation is not happening in these relationships. And it keeps going up until something tips it over to be abusive. Then it's screaming, it's shaming, it's "you're a piece of shit." And look, we all get angry. Every human being on the planet, I'm convinced, has had an abusive moment. In abusive relationships, so maybe I'm answering multiple questions at once here, but in an abusive relationship, there's no repair, there's no coming together. It tends to be swept off the rug. So in these cycles, it gets real bad. It pops off, whether that's physically or screaming match with things being thrown. And it can be different. I'm talking in generality. Maybe it peaks and somebody cheats again. Okay. But something builds and the abuse happens. Okay. Then there's distance. Then there's quiet. Okay. There tends to not be any resolution. There might be apology, but it's empty. So a real healthy apology is not, "I'm sorry, and then I'm just going to do it again," and enter this cycle where it peaks and then we come down again, and then it peaks again, and then it comes down again. A real healthy apology between healthy people, even if they have an abusive moment, is, "I'm so sorry. I need to own that. I'm working on that. These are the things that I am doing, and I am willing to do more to not do this again. If I have these feelings build up and I cannot control myself, I'm going to step outside. I'm going to go to therapy or up my therapy, or I'm going to bring you with me to talk about this with my therapist." There is palpable energy and effort towards repair. Healthy relationships can have a small sprinkling, maybe even in the beginning as people are getting triggered. But in healthy relationships, we actually help each other find accountability, own what we need to own, because the other person won't over-own it for us if we've had an abusive moment. And then we repair and we come back together and we actually learn how to grow past that so that we stop banging our head against that same wall. In truly dysfunctional and abusive relationships, that doesn't happen. It cycles and it cycles and it cycles. And again, the sort of bad movie idea we have in our head about this is, after that abusive moment, the abuser comes home with flowers and is so sweet and so kind. Maybe they have makeup sex. Maybe it's okay for a minute, and then the cycle starts to build again. The tension starts to build until it blows.